Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be doing another episode of Nightmare Matchups. And as you can tell from the title and thumbnail, it is going to be a fan favorite fighter in Jon Jones. Now, I'm going to put up a little disclaimer in the beginning of this, because there's going to be some jokes. But let me just say this, Jon Jones is a very controversial figure in MMA, I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed. But I'm just going to say this. He is either the #1 or the second best MMA fighter to ever do it. The only reason that you wouldn't put him there is purely because of the juicing. I'm not even going to say juicing allegations. Let's be real, bro was juicing. Okay? Like, we're in the year 2024. If you really believe that Jon Jones, every single time he got busted for a PED, it wasn't as egregious as you think it was. I'm telling you, dude, no. Yeah, like, what he got busted for was the tip of the iceberg. But still, everybody else in his generation was juicing. And today, we're going to be going through some nightmare matchups in this current incarnation of Jones, okay? Trying to do a matchmaking for prime Jon Jones, a nightmare matchup for him, that's a completely different video that's going to take a lot more research. I'm going off of the Jon Jones that we saw fought Ciryl Gane in the heavyweight division, and as you can tell, I do have some light heavyweights. I'm going to be using the Jon Jones that fought Dominick Reyes, because that was the last light heavyweight fight. That is the Jon Jones I'm going to use. I'm not going to use the Ciryl Gane Jon Jones, but I'm going to be using that Jon for heavyweight. Now that I got that little disclaimer, little criteria out of the way, you guys know the rest. You know what free defense means. You guys know what free nightmare means. Let's get into it. And we're going to start off with Stipe Miocic. Oh yeah, no, there's going to be some rants in here because I haven't had any caffeine this morning. I'm a little crabby. And yeah, no, this one's going to be a little extra venomous video. Stipe Miocic versus Jon Jones is a mockery of the heavyweight division. I'm sorry, it is. Here's the thing. I don't think Jon would get absolutely outclassed by a Tom Aspinall. Like, people that are saying Jon's scared of Tom, I don't think Jon's scared of Tom, because I don't think Jon is scared of anybody. I think the UFC is more worried than anything. I think that's one reason the UFC has kind of been stepping in like, hey, Tom, we can't be doing that. Hey, if Dana White came out and said, hey, if Tom Aspinall is being really eager to fight and keeps going on Twitter, we can find somebody to defend his interim against. What that basically means is keep talking, and then we're going to make you fight somebody we're going to make you fight somebody that's not going to go too well for you, and you're not going to become champion. Because as of right now, all Tom Aspinall has to do is shut up, and he will be the next undisputed without fighting anybody. But Tom Aspinall's going to have to fight somebody. But back to Stipe. Stipe hasn't won a fight in 2 years. He hasn't. I have no clue why there is such a crazy selective blindness to, like, Stipe fighting for the title. Brother, I have had disagreements within my own family and friend groups over this. What has Stipe done in the past 2 years that gives him the ability to jump the line? Nothing. I think people, like, when they'll go, like, do comments on, like, I've made multiple videos on this, they'll go in the comment section saying, oh, casual, you're saying stuff about Jon Jones not scared of Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones would beat Tom Aspinall. This is my point. Why are we debating who would win between Tom Aspinall and Jon when Tom Aspinall is the clear #1 contender? That's what the interim means. And Jon Jones is going to fight Stipe for a legacy fight. Let me tell you something. The reason that nobody complained at UFC 295, or was it was one of those, at UFC 295, is because there wasn't a clear #1 contender. Listen, that's what happened. First off, the UFC didn't even offer Stipe the interim title shot, saying that it was an insult to somebody like Stipe. Where was this energy when you were actively rooting for Stipe to lose against Francis Ngannou? The whole reason that Francis Ngannou was rust up is, for one, the UFC put crazy marketing dollars behind Francis Ngannou to the point that they created a superstar, and that Francis Ngannou became a bigger star than they could handle. Francis Ngannou knew that he could be a star in boxing, so he wanted to fight free agency. He beat Stipe Miocic. They wanted him to lose to Ciryl Gane. Francis fought with a tore Achilles and won. And the UFC still is mad at him for it. But the fact is, they wanted Francis to be the star of heavyweight over Stipe, because I'm telling you this right now, Stipe, unless he's fighting a marketable fighter like a Daniel Cormier, he doesn't sell well. People will just say, oh, it's because he's the GOAT. GSP is the GOAT of welterweight. Does that mean he can come back whenever he wants and fight Leon Edwards? No. You would think that was weird. If that was the headliner of just some random event, you guys would think that was a weird thing to do. But because it's Stipe and Jon, people get really defensive about it. I don't get it. Honestly, yeah, no, I'm going to tell you this right now. Stipe right now, brother, have you seen him training? Listen, prime Stipe would do very well against Jones right now. This is not a prime Stipe. Stipe has trouble walking himself throughout the octagon. Free title defense. That's what it is. The UFC wants Jon Jones to go out on a win because it is the ultimate stick it to him to Francis Ngannou. Because, Jon beat Ciryl Gane quicker than Francis. How did they market it? Jon Jones beat somebody that arguably beat Francis Ngannou. That was the whole story of the marketing. Now they're making him fight Stipe because Stipe beat Francis one time. That is why they want Stipe to fight Jon. It's not because that's what the fans want. The fans actually don't want to see that. I have met 3 people that actually want to see Stipe versus Jon Jones, and the reason that they give, it's a legacy fight. I have met more people that want to see Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones because that is a more competitive fight. Nobody will disagree with me. Tom Aspinall is better right now than Stipe Miocic is right now. And that's what matters right now. I don't understand why that's a discussion. Ciryl Gane. Easy. I know, why isn't he in free defense? Because I'll say this right now, if they fought again, Ciryl Gane would put up a better fight in the second fight. But there's a point. Okay, let me get into... heavyweight is the worst division. Heavyweight is the women's MMA of the male divisions. Basically, men's heavyweight is like women's bantamweight, okay? It is a ridiculously top-heavy division, but even at the top, they're very one-dimensional. You're either a good wrestler, a good striker, or you're like Tom Aspinall and Stipe. I know it's like, why aren't you bringing up Jon? Jon's barely a heavyweight. He came from light heavyweight. I mean people that were in this division from the beginning. But if you're well-rounded, you're going to become a champion. It's as simple as that. It's the same. This is the problem with heavyweight. Ciryl Gane is not going to become a better grappler. He's just not. You want to know why? Because if you're built like Francis, if you're built like Ciryl Gane, how many people in the world are built like that? Not many. The reason that lighter fighters are better is because when we're in a training room together, it's not like... oh, you're 155 pounds. Go find somebody that's 155. No, you will spar somebody that's 200 pounds. Like, in the training room, unless it's like we're getting ready, like we're a couple weeks out, if we're just like training, okay, we are not going to pair up for a weight in most occasions. How many people are built like Ciryl Gane? Not many. Ciryl Gane fought Francis Ngannou in the training room. There's not a lot of people built like that. So he's not going to have to be as good as the lighter guys to survive in that training room. But the lighter guys are going to have to be so perfect with their technique to compete with the bigger people. They just are. Like, the fact is if I had to be given a choice, who is more skilled on any given day? Just an average person at 170 pounds versus the biggest heavyweight? A guy with 170 pounds is so much more skilled, it's practically a different sport. His striking's good. Don't get me wrong. He is a legit striker. But how do people describe his striking? He's a heavyweight that moves like a middleweight. You see what I'm saying? Easy. No, grappling 0. Tom Aspinall, nightmare. I'm just going to say it. Tom Aspinall right now, I do believe, would beat Jon. Because Tom Aspinall is one of the most well-rounded heavyweights I've ever seen. Like in this current generation of MMA, he is probably one of my favorite prospects because of how well-rounded he is in a division that is very one-dimensional. I think I think Tom Aspinall will be considered the GOAT of heavyweight within the next couple of years because all he needs is 4 title defense, dude. Nate, who's beating him? He beats Almeida because Almeida can't strike. He'll beat Gane again. Sorry. He'll beat Gane. They never fought the first place. That's why I had to correct myself. He'll beat Gon because Gon can't grapple. He submitted Volkov, who people think is a great grappler because he submitted Tai Tuivasa. Bro, like, for real, he'll beat Curtis Blades because Curtis Blades' striking is meh. And it was a fluke loss in the first time. But yeah, no, nightmare. Honestly, yeah. If they fought, I would pick Tom Aspinall. I think most people would. But let me preface this, because people will go in the comment section saying that's a casual take. You really believe Tom would beat John Jones? Oh, John Jones isn't out of his prime. Daniel Cormier reigned at heavyweight at the exact same age. Well, brother, not everybody ages the same way. Daniel Cormier is impressive because of his longevity. John Jones is coming off of 2 surgeries, dude. Have you seen him right now? He's not going to beat Tom Aspinall. I think it'll be competitive, but I think Tom Aspinall is going to win, and I think that's one reason the UFC is not in a rush to make that fight, because they are aware that Tom stands a great chance of beating John Jones at this point in time. Not Prime Jones, this Jones. John Jones, at most, has 2 more fights left, but I believe it's only 1. Next up, Curtis Blades. Medium. Here's the thing. Curtis Blades has the grappling to keep it on the feet. And here's the thing. John Jones, I think, would be able to get a TKO. I think he would be able to outstrike Curtis Blades fairly easily. But at the same time, Curtis Blades is... there's a difference between heavyweight wrestling and light heavyweight wrestling, and that's why we got some light heavyweights down here. It's just such a huge skill gap in between those 2 divisions that I would say John Jones's above average wrestling at light heavyweight is going to be better than Curtis Blades' great wrestling at heavyweight. And if you can't even beat him at your own stick, you're going to lose in the striking, and you're going to lose grappling exchanges. Curtis Blades would lose. Alexander Volkov. I don't even know who I'm going to put in. I don't know. We got some light heavyweights to put there. I'm probably going to put Volkov in medium to hard, purely because of this. As much as I do respect John and his fighting ability, the one thing that has always bothered me about John Jones is he does have a lot of problems with people with good reigns. I'm not saying that the only reason that John Jones was good was because he was just genetically more blessed than everybody else at light heavyweight at that time in that generation. No, that's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is it helps. I don't know why we're denying that having a crazy wingspan helps a lot. It does. John Jones has trouble with people that have similar reaches to him. He had a longer reach than Dominic Reyes, and Dominic Reyes arguably won that fight. We had to make up rules to say Dominic Reyes won. That is a hill that I will die on. One of the arguments for Dominic Reyes losing that fight is because the 5th and 4th round means more than the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That is nowhere written in the rule book. That is a completely made up rule. But anyways, I'll get to that. I'll get to that one later in the video. But Alexander Volkov, because of the reigns, I think would be able to stand a really good chance against John. But again, grappling is overrated. He was able to submit Tai Tuivasa, who is just not that good at grappling. And honestly, I think is 1 foot out the door. I think he made a decent amount of money. And he seems like a cool dude. He's one of my most likable UFC fighters. Same time, I don't think he's going to be in it for much longer. But there you go. Medium. Next up, Almeida. Easy. Almeida has good grappling. Yeah. I think he would be able to survive longer than Gon because we don't know what his Jones' striking looks like right now, but he's not going to outreach John, and John Jones is just a way better striker than what Almeida is. It's not even close. And Almeida's grappling is at best like a decent light heavyweight, but heavyweight is just meh. Derek Lewis was able to just stand up, dude. Like, for real. They offered you a short notice Derek Lewis, and you couldn't submit him. Easy. Actually, no, not quite free defense. I'll put him at the bottom of easy. I'm just not impressed with Almeida, dude. Sergey Spivak, free defense. Bro, Spivak is a decent grappler for heavyweight, which basically makes you a bad grappler for light heavyweight. And was treated like a punching bag by Ciryl Gane. And I get it. I think they just wanted to test Ciryl Gane and see how bad his grappling was. At the same time, that is a free defense. I'm sorry. Sergey Spivak seems like a cool dude. At the same time, if he was in light heavyweight, let's be real, he probably wouldn't be in the top 10. Is that a fair assumption? Next up, Tai Tuivasa. Wait, did I forget Sergey Pavlovich? Okay. I don't know if I'll edit this or not, but you guys will be able to see how I do this. Okay, Sergey Pavlovich. Boom, boom. And bop. Okay, let's move him up. Sergey Pavlovich, very hard, actually. Do I think he's a nightmare matchup? No, because he got out-grappled by Alistair Overeem. He is a hard matchup. Yeah, it's close, honestly. Like, I thought Sergey Pavlovich was going to beat Tom Aspinall purely because Tom Aspinall didn't get a single day of training camp in and was just hitting pads up to that point. But it just proves the levels between Tom Aspinall and everybody else. But Sergey Pavlovich, I'm gonna put at middle hard before we go into light heavyweight. I think he would be a very difficult match for John. I think the power is something to be respected. I think the blitzkrieg that he goes on in his striking is something to be respected. His grappling's not terrible, but if you compare it to light heavyweight, it's mid. And John has good grappling for light heavyweight. Tai Tuivasa. He would do Tai Tuivasa like he did Ciryl Gane, and I understand power. Power is the Uno reverse card of MMA because you could be worse than everybody. You could be worse than your opponent in every single way possible, but you could crack and you'll win. Outside of that happening, he would get done like Ciryl Gane. I'm very confident in that. Derek Lewis, honestly, Derek Lewis, I'd probably put in here an easy. Purely because, yeah, I think he has the power to put down John. He doesn't have the reach to put down John. He doesn't have the athleticism to put down John. The grappling's better than Tai Tuivasa. And I know some people are gonna people are gonna fast forward and look at Stipe down here and be like, that's a casual take. Stipe needs to help to be walked around. I'm sorry, he's not ready to fight, dude. Derek Lewis. At least he'll be able to have one just stand up moment and then gets submitted. And now we're going into light heavyweight where people are probably going to have the most polarizing comments. But this is where we're at with heavyweight. I think Tom Aspinall is the only nightmare matchup, and I think Pavlovich is the only hard matchup. Everybody else I would actually favor John in. These are the only two where I would say Sergey Pavlovich versus John Jones is a pick'em. Tom Aspinall's probably a 2-1 favorite. Alex Pereira. People are going to get really mad at me, dude. Yeah, no, I actually believe Alex Pereira would be a hard matchup for John for a few reasons. Okay, let me first, slowly move you into my realm of thinking, okay? The performance that I am judging all of these matchups on is the Dominic Reyes performance. Is the John Jones that beat Dominic Reyes going to be the people that I'm going to name? Bear in mind, Dominic Reyes got absolutely throttled by every other light heavyweight that came after him. Jan Blachowicz fucked him up. Yuri Prohaska effed him up. It was either Ozdemir or Amzat that messed him up after that. Come on. But no, Alex Pereira is going to be in our hard one because first off, he has the power to put down John. He has a longer reach than Reyes, dude. Not a longer reach than Jones, but John Jones was having trouble with Reyes. He is going to have trouble with Pereira. The only thing, it's the obvious one, the only thing that I would give John would be fight IQ for MMA and grappling. But at the same time, if we're dealing with the Dominic Reyes performance and he can't get Alex Pereira down until the 4th round, we're not going to a decision. Alex Pereira will actually put you down in the first 3. I would favor John, but I would actually argue that this is going to be a pick'em. That's why he's going below Sergey Pavlovich. But dude, okay, is anybody going to disagree with me? If Alex Pereira can stuff the takedown for 3 rounds, he wins. Okay? He is that much better of a striker to John. I'm sorry, he is. Saying that John Jones is a better striker than Alex Pereira in his resume of work, That's a casual take. I'm sorry. Jamal Hill. Okay, let me just first say this. Jamal Hill's better than Yuri. Fight me. He is. What performance are you going to point to from Yuri Prohaska that's going to put him above Jamal Hill? I'm sorry. Jamal Hill put down Johnny Walker with a straight punch and beat the tar and the dog out of Glover Teixeira. Glover Teixeira arguably was going to beat Yuri before he got that miracle submission. I'm going to have to put Jamal Hill. I'm going to put Jamal Hill above Alex Pereira, actually, because Glover Teixeira couldn't get him down. Like, I think it would be a difficult one, honestly. So, pick'em. This is going to be the pick'em matchup. I favor Jones. I favor Jones a little bit less. I favor Sergey. Okay? That's how the heart is going to work. But I do believe, if we're talking about the Dominic Reyes performance, I know people romanticize. Let me just tell you this. Jon Jones was not finishing people at that generation in the Dominic Reyes generation. He just wasn't. He was having close wars. Thiago Santos. The Gustafsson fights. Daniel Cormier doesn't have reigns like Alex Pereira does. He just doesn't. Sorry. Yuri Prohaska has the Chandler syndrome, dude. I'm convinced of it. I'm going to put him at the top of medium, and I think a lot of light heavyweights are going to be in that topper echelon. But I'm going to have to say Yuri Prohaska is going to have to go at the top of medium. Purely because if you look at what he did to Dominic Reyes, but his fight IQ is actually terrible. I have no clue what's going on with him sometimes. I think what would happen is Yuri Prohaska would be outstriking Jon on the feet for a little bit, and then he would try to take down Jon and then get viciously TKO'd or submitted. That's what I think would happen. Because, I mean, Glover nearly had him, and I don't know what it is about Jon. It's not that Jon is better at submitting people, but he's better at breaking people to get them to submit. That's what he's really good at. Magomed Ankalaev, honestly, top of hard, borderline nightmare difficulty. Magomed Ankalaev, the biggest problem with Magomed Ankalaev, honestly, is one, fairly basic striking, and very, very bad at checking leg kicks. Very bad. I actually think Alex Pereira is going to do very well against him if he can keep this standing. But Magomed Ankalaev has grappling that I believe is better than Jon. Striking, I will favor Jon Jones. The reach, I favor Jon. But just the well-roundedness of Magomed Ankalaev going up against a Dominic Reyes-esque performance from Jon Jones, I think that's something that you got to take into account. Hard difficulty. Jan Blachowicz. This is tough, actually. Okay. Jan. Well-roundedness. Striking, I would favor Jon. Grappling is a toss-up. Reitz, I favor Jon. I think he would be able to win. I'm going to put him at the top of medium. Crucify me in the comment section down below. I regret nothing. Next up, Rakic. Rakic is very rangy, but I'm going to say this. We haven't seen him fight in 2 years. And I'm very nervous, okay? I'll put him above Volkov, but below Yuri, purely because it's been 2 years since we've seen him fight, but the last time we did see him fight, he can utilize his range very well, something that Jon Jones has trouble with. But I need to see him fight more, dude, and I had to put him on here. Middle, medium, mid, overall. And finally, Anthony Lionheart Smith. Why is he on here? Because Anthony Smith believes he would win a rematch. No. I think he would be above as current Stipe Miocic, though. But there you go. That is the tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed. Now, one more reminder. I'm judging his light heavyweight tier list purely off the Dominic Reyes performance, because that was the last light heavyweight fight, and I'm judging heavyweight by the Ciryl Gane fight, his last heavyweight fight. Before you go in the comment section and crucify me, that's my last disclaimer. But with that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't know. I know I'm going to be doing more of these nightmare matchups. I just don't know what the next fighter is going to be. Quick criteria. If they're undefeated or they're a new champion. Those are the only two. Like, Shavkat Rakhmonov's fair game. Sean O'Malley's fair game. They either have to be undefeated in the UFC, or they have to be a champion that hasn't defended the title yet. That is the criteria that I'm going to go off of going into the future. Put your suggestions down below and tell me what you think about this video. I know I had a few controversial takes in here. Make a good argument and maybe I'll walk it back. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching, and adios.